Hey guys, welcome to another Fancy Friday. We got a killer note for you right here. This is the fourth time I've tried to film this video. I've had the guineas doing their thing. I've had the dog barking. I've had the mailman show up. I've had all sorts of distractions, but I think I'm good now. But anyway, back to this note. This is a Super Radar silver certificate from 1957. It's graded a 66 EPQ by PMG. And let's talk about Super Radar and what that actually means. Now, right here on this serial number, if you look, it reads the same forward as it does backward regarding the numbers. And that's called a radar. What makes it a super radar is if you look at the zeros and how they bookend all the eights, they bookend all the same numbers in the middle. Now, if that were flipped and eights were on the outside and zeros in the middle, that's still a super radar. So it's just simply that arrangement of numbers. It's a very desirable way to collect notes. There's people out there that only collect super radars. They're few and far between, but they are out there, and it would get pretty expensive, I would think. Now, a note like this, value-wise, with it being eights and zeros, eights are really desirable, especially in Asian cultures. I think they're actually deemed lucky. This is, right there in about the $400 to $500 range. I know that sounds high, and some of you are like, what in the world? What do you pay that much for something like this? But yeah, I would, and I did. I like eights and zeros, and having super radars in a 65 and above grade on silver certificates, they're very, very hard to come by. Get on eBay and type in silver certificate super radar and look at those prices. Now, I know you can name your own prices on eBay, but you're not going to find one for less than $600 on there. There's some that go all the way up to $1,600 and $1,800, and they're just sixes and zeros and that type of stuff. So it's a very valuable note to have, and they're getting more and more valuable seemingly every month. Now, to get notes like this or to find notes like this, nowadays, you either have to get lucky or you have to keep your eye on auction services like Heritage and Stacks and Bowers, that type of stuff. And they will come up, decently often. I guess usually on Heritage, which is the main one I follow, they will have a super radar or super repeater up about once a month. Maybe a couple times a month, depending on the influx of notes. But a lot of times those are just standard Federal Reserve notes. They're not they're not silver certificates or anything. So this is a really, really high quality note. Now, if you look on the back, look at these margins. In past videos, I've talked about margins and stuff and the importance of them. But the margins, we're talking about the outer part of the note here, the lighter colored part. They're all very uniform, and they're pretty large. And on the front, you have a lot the same. They're not nearly as big, but they're very uniform. That's one of the main ways to look at grades of notes. When you get up in the mint state grade, we're talking like 60 and above. To get up here above 65, a lot of times you're going to have very, very uniform margins all the way around. You're going to have a lot of uniformity with the embossing. Okay, if you look at this note and all of the ink on there, look how uniform it is. Look how pretty it is. It looks like it was printed yesterday. You can see that very, very well with that portrait. And then if you look at the blue seal right there, and just how high quality those are. That is one of the best ways to check to see, do I have an MS63 or do I have, an MS66? There's numerous other things too. You're going to look at your corners. Are your corners sharp or are they slightly rounded? Slightly rounded can knock it down to that 63 range very easily. Is it centered up well? There's a whole lot to look at, but this is one of those notes where, you could almost argue it's almost undergraded. It could swing a 67 or a 68. So I've got a 67 Super Radar Silver that I've compared it to, and I mean they look identical. This actually this actually is embossed a little bit better than the 67. It just looks better. But I've rambled on enough. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I've really tried to add a little bit of quality to the collection here recently, and this is really the cornerstone. So I'll be seeing y'all next Fancy Friday. Thanks for watching.